So, okay, guys, I'm going to start off by asking you guys one question. So, we saw Jamie Vardy in the most recent game against Tottenham take the absolute Mickey out of Spurs, right? A lot of people said that maybe the shithousery that Jamie Vardy brings into the Premier League is like unparalleled, and we do not have personnel like him right now in the Premier League. There are very few people. It's mostly all so lovey-dovey. It was like Cole Palmer, like after the Chelsea game, standing and like just chatting with the City players as if like nothing happened. As if it was like Chelsea won the game. I just wanted to ask all of y'all at the start, who according to you, you can't say Jamie Vardy, who according to you was the most shithouse player that you guys have seen in the Premier League? Who wants to go first?
I mean, it's a very tough competition, but I'll start. I'll say with the most recent one, Neil Maupay. Before
Yeah,
him, oh man,
yeah, that's a good shout.
top class, man. That guy, he always, I think he's more energized and more involved in the game when he starts with the shithousery. So,
Yeah, I
top
think that
class.
that's a really good answer because I
Oh,
remember Mope, getting at Madison with the bow celebration thing. So yeah, actually he's a pretty good shout.
that's the most recent
Raghu,
one before Wadi.
yeah, I think yeah, and he is at the currently he is one of those players who kind of riles opposition up, and he's always taking a pop at some
Yeah.
defender or something like that. But
Unparalleled
anyone from
entertainment.
you guys, Sean, Raghu?
I think for me, maybe to go a bit further away, maybe Adebayor. I wouldn't call Van Persie or
I
someone.
was I was gonna say Adebayo.
Yeah, no, Adebayor even. Yeah, I think I'll go with Adebayor because
That
the
that
way
memory will forever be etched in your head. No,
it.
that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
celebration.
Oh,
yeah,
That
classic,
was
man.
like one of
Classic.
the most shithouse
yeah.
celebrations.
Seriously, seriously, yeah. Should be back there.
Sean,
Yeah.
anything from you?
Ooh, like I mean, this Vardy's like one of the best, but Diego Costa, less in terms of
Oh,
shithouse, but वो
yes.
बंदा तो he, it's like he came to play just to have like a radass with people and fight
Yeah.
with people, and I remember I just get so annoyed watching him like play for Chelsea, like it just every time he just like rile like the players up. It was like grade A, C word, एकदम.
Him and Koscielny, especially like Arsenal Chelsea games, was crazy,
Oh,
man.
that was so fun to watch as a Chelsea fan. I mean, watching Costa
Seriously,
in
yeah.
his entire tenure at
Hmm.
Chelsea was just fun every time he stepped onto the pitch.
Box office, dude.
Ah,
There's a big link here with all these
Oh, we
guys being
forgot. Sorry,
strikers, no?
we forgot Balotelli, dude. Balotelli.
Balotelli. I that was
again,
my
another
second
striker.
shot. Yeah.
Balotelli was a very good shithouse. Rooney as well. Rooney was a good shithouse as well. The common thing is all these guys were strikers. So maybe it's just in the striker gene to be a big shithouse. But I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you guys have any like notable shithouse players that we have missed. Get the interaction going below. But we'll straight away get into the game week. Um, happy that the Premier League is back. Did you guys enjoy the first
Oh,
week of football,
missed
except
it.
goals?
It was like that hit of nicotine after a 12-hour shift. So good. Missed it.
But did you go in with confidence in this game? What before, like
In
pre-match, what was
this
going
game,
through your head and your stomach? Like what did you think after that preseason that you guys had that there was a chance of getting something in this game?
not really, not really. I actually didn't watch the game live. I had work the next morning, but I went to sleep just praying that please not another 6-0. Just not another 6-0. I'm happy with 1-0, 2-0 loss, but not another 6-0. So overall, I'm still satisfied. I mean, it is what I expected it to be.
The whole talk of the town is about Chelsea, right? When it comes to the game, what happened? Obviously, it
Ah,
was the
I'm
biggest game of the
getting
weekend
bored
as well.
now. It's been like that for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Just
but that's your owner's fault, na? That he doesn't take the eyes of he isn't taking the eyes of Chelsea by doing such things.
and we still
Another
don't have a
player,
sponsor.
and you still don't have a striker. Another
See,
player has come through the door, and he's not a striker as well.
Appu, come on,
I
chop.
we'll have four wingers each side and no defenders, just a keeper and four wingers.
Just vibes.
On Enzo and Caicedo, of course, क्योंकि ज़्यादा पैसा भरा उनके लिए. But that's gonna be our team for rest of the season. But just wingers and vibes.
So, like when you watch that game, of course, like it is a new start, it's a new era. Did you see anything from that game that you were like, yeah, this is what this manager's trying to do, or is it like too early to kind of, get assumptions from?
No, I saw it through the preseason as well, what he was trying to do. But what is evident is it's not got to the players yet. They are not used to playing in that style yet. And especially the starting 11, you see, they didn't get a lot of minutes in the preseason. Other than the defenders and the keeper, we didn't have what Nkunku played, but then he was very careful with him during preseason as well. Because of course these guys are also made out of glass. So you have to be very careful with them. So it was very evident that his message has not gone through to the players as of yet. But I mean, as he's spoken during preseason, even now, it is very clear to me as a fan that he has a style of play, he has a way of thinking, and I'm pretty sure he'll get it to the players. It's gonna take a while, but he is once he gets that to the players, I think it will be more evident on the pitch.
What's the like? I haven't been following Chelsea much. Like, what's the style of play that he comes with and stuff?
Yeah, same. I don't see that
So
cohesive style,
he's
like
no
yeah.
no his style of play, Enzo Maresca's style of play is playing out from the back. He loves the Pep wala inverted fullback thing. He wants to create an overload in the midfield while going forward. तो वही वाला सीन है कि more possession based style of play. It's not
Wait,
counter
you guys tried to
attacking.
do that a lot against Steven City friendly, no? The one where Haaland scored that penalty.
I think there they were trying to more play out from the back, which is going to take them a lot of time to
Yeah, yeah,
master.
yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
with
Because
defenders like Fofana and Colville now he started playing at centre back after an entire year playing left back. So
mm.
for
And
them,
anyway, I just feel playing out from the back. I only think Colville is your most adept defender in doing that.
the
I think,
one who excelled in that role playing out from the back was Thiago Silva, and we've just let him go. He was probably
yeah,
the only
because
one last season who could
Mm.
actually do it. Who was calm and composed on the ball, good with his feet, but so I don't think our defense is set up for his style of play yet.
but you did get in Dawson. Do you think he could do a job over there in terms of, because when you look at center backs, like managers nowadays are so picky when it comes to like choosing their center backs as to how they want to play.
Yeah,
I do not see any of those Chelsea players who are very capable in like bringing out the ball from the back. And then plus even in the midfield, like it's like players trying to show themselves. Maybe Enzo a little bit, Caicedo, he had it, but it was not evident in that City game. And plus another thing I wanted to ask you is the three midfielders which he chose in that game. Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo. All three more in the mold of being eights. It's not
yeah,
like a normally you'd have like a six, you'd have a box to box, and you'd have a proper 10. But these are like proper, I would say, I would say Lavia's a six,
yeah.
six two sixes, and Enzo was someone who was playing he was playing the highest. Do you think that is sustainable, or do you see someone like a Dewsbury Hall coming in and soon putting one of those guys on the bench?
I do see Dewsbury Hall coming in and putting Enzo on the bench. To be honest, Caicedo and Lavia are more suited to that role that they're playing. Enzo, he is like, see, I'll be honest, I didn't watch him before he played for Chelsea. I didn't watch him while he plays for Argentina. So I don't know if he is capable of playing in that role. But in Chelsea, he has never played that role. He's always been the one sitting behind. It's been Conor Gallagher last season, and then yeah. So I'm not really sure if Enzo can do that. In this game, he was completely off the game. He was off the pace, and That was the case in preseason as well. Once he joined from the Argentina squad, he was like he looked like a fish out of the pond. You know, he didn't know what he was doing, and so I think the short-term fix for that would be getting Dewsbury Hall in. But there's that price tag pressure on Maresca, and we always knew this was going to happen. That
Mhm.
once you sign Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo for the amount of money that we did, these three have to start your games. So
But then what message does that send that with Dewsbury Hall? Because Maresca has come in and specifically made Dewsbury Hall his prime target and he's got
yeah.
him out of Leicester. You know, you have these managers who go in back into their previous clubs to get this sort of the most important player
Mm,
and set up.
to be
So
honest,
surely Dewsbury Hall is come into play, and not just make the numbers.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure that when he signed, he was told that he was going to be a squad player. And
Okay.
that is the role I see him playing, at least for the first half of this season, is coming off the bench in the second half and trying to make an impact. But unless he has some exceptional performances, I don't see him replacing. Like, I want him to replace Enzo, as I said, but I don't think that's going to happen because of that price tag pressure that's on the midfield
By the
three.
way, I just wanted to know, did Enzo take the knee in the first game?
ये कट कर देना ये
Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, Raghu, I'll get like since you have the closest what do you say outlook to City. You've seen them last year pretty closely as Arsenal were chasing for the title. You saw a glimpse of Manchester City in this game as well. What did you make of City's performance in this game? Like, yeah, it did look like a pretty easy 2-0 win for them, but are there things that stood out for you both positively and negatively for Pep?
I mean, I think as we predicted, even in ahead of the season start, I do think they are going to push harder and try and dominate even this season. It is a long season, a long way ahead to go, but I think they do end up, they do show up in moments where it matters. What would be interesting to see is how the introduction of Leicester or the new clubs that have joined this season, what upsets they can cause to teams like City, Arsenal, and the rest is because it's quite dynamic. I think Arne Slot mentioned this because they faced Ipswich Town that there's no easy game in Premier League anymore. So those are the upsets that might pull City down, but otherwise I think they're still going to push harder, especially given that it's Pep's last season.
I feel like City have always been good against the smaller teams. Like they've always found a way to get past the smaller teams. I think where City can only kind of slip back is maybe if the top clubs start performing well. I think that what you say that 10, like those first six clubs or first eight clubs, you look at Newcastle as well, going to St James's Park. You look at Aston Villa last season. City lost there. even in
Yeah,
newcastle Even in Newcastle they were pretty close to losing, but then Newcastle completely lost their heads in the last 5 minutes and City just end up turning the game. So I think our teams are at the moment more capable to kind of get something from City, because there were moments in that game where I felt even with Chelsea, if they had a little bit of a better killer instinct,
Yeah.
they look pretty flat up front. City do give you chances. I remember the Jackson chance as well. It's fine margins where Jackson needs to stay on side for that, because that's basic. You have to look at your defender and see where they are, and Jackson completely loses focus. Even he had another chance on the back turn where he hits it straight at Edison.
Harrison,
So
yeah.
City do give you chances. It just remains that you have to go in with a shell. You have to defend it out, like you guys did at the Emirates last season and
right.
also at the Etihad. So I think
Yep.
other clubs will be looking at those performances, and even what United did in the FA Cup final, right? Like
Yep.
go hold on a good shape, and you will get chances. Like on the break, or on the turnover, on the transition, you will get chances. So I think teams will be more wary towards that. And yeah, hopefully it is the downfall of City. But Sean, they've gotten Gundogan back.
Ooh,
They've not been very busy in the
trauma.
market, but they've got
Hmm.
Gundogan back. They're also looking at a Japanese striker that, can you tell us a little bit about it?
So they're linked with Kyogo Furuhashi, and I don't know if they'll sign him because he of his age profile, maybe he's 29, but if they do, he has a really interesting history. He played in he played in Japan in the J League, and he actually played for Vissel Kobe, and he played with Iniesta. And there were lots of interviews where he was like, "Oh, training with Iniesta, I've learned so much." And he's learned like his movement from there. And then when he went to Celtic after Vissel Kobe, you could see it like his movement stands out in like the Scottish League as like being levels, above. Like, and I'd always figured he'd join like some mid-table Premier League team at some point, but him under Pep could be really good. He's also played for Japan on and off. He didn't have the best relationship with the last manager, but he's a very intelligent striker. Like, he can poach goals as well, create chances, moves really well in those half spaces. So he'd be a good Pep forward, and I hope he comes to the Premier League.
Anything
Would he
from
be
your
a
side
backup?
to? Sorry,
Hmm?
sorry. Yeah, go
Uh,
on, Raghu.
no,
He'd
I was asking, would he be a backup or where would he fit?
he'd be like a backup, like because
He'll
they
be
have
the Alvarez replacement.
yeah,
All right.
basically like a squad like replacement. Because he
Yeah.
can play in the central role, but like I don't know if he'd be as effective as someone who's like a Haaland in that space. But yeah,
But that's what they
they
did with
might they,
Alvarez last season as well. It
mm,
wasn't Alvarez replacing Haaland. Alvarez played
it
in
was
that
like
number 10 role.
complementing. Yeah,
There
Yeah.
were so
both.
many games even when Alvarez and Haaland both started together
Yeah, yeah.
because
Hmm.
Alvarez in some games I remember due to FPL also and watching City as well. Alvarez was also playing a lot with Haaland and in that De Bruyne role because De Bruyne at the
Yeah.
start of the season was not
Was
there. He was
Injured.
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 So
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be a big challenge for City because I was having a discussion on the group that City have not been very active in the transfer market. I don't know why they are doing it. Maybe because the 115 is looming on their heads. Maybe they are a little bit wary because the City of old, they would sell a player
Hmm.
like Alvarez and they would immediately go in and get a bigger name,
Hmm.
right? You can say that they want someone to like, back up Haaland, or they want someone to play in Haaland's shadow. And I know they spent just 10 odd million to get Alvarez, who some say was not a very known quantity, but a lot of clubs were behind Alvarez because he was playing for River Plate. He did very well in the South American competition, so everyone knew about who Alvarez was, and he was an upcoming prospect. But no offense to the Japanese guy, he's on the older
Yeah, exactly.
sphere of the of in terms of the age, and we've not seen City recruiting players who are 29. We'd
Hmm.
always see them recruiting someone who is younger. So it's a very big shock that City are targeting players like this. Even Savinho, they've bought him, I know, from a sister club, but 20 odd million. So they haven't spent anything at all. So I just don't know, I just feel that they have it in the back of their heads that, what if we do get relegated? Can we afford to have like so many people on our wage list?
Hmm.
Obviously that's going to be a total, it's going to be a like a bomb dropping what they're going to do if they do get relegated. But I think they have that in the back of their head.
I think it's also because I think it is very clear now this is going to be Pep's last season. So they're going to be smart in that way as well, not
Yeah,
recruiting. I mean, they
that's a
don't
very
know
good
who's
point.
the next manager going to
Yeah.
be and if they're
Yeah,
going to fit their style. So there's no point in spending a lot of money on a star signing now and then he doesn't fit the next manager's idea. So
yeah.
I think that might be a reason as well. I mean,
Hmm.
Pep, he just recently said he has no motivation to win the Premier League this season. So it's
Maybe City are preparing for an Arteta reunion.
oh,
Oh.
that would be a
Ooh.
bombshell dropping if that
And then
No.
happens.
Arteta comes and takes Declan Rice from Arsenal,
Oh,
something like
so
that.
beautiful.
Oh, Odegaard. They might take Odegaard. They need a 10.
Wow.
Raghu is
Saka,
gonna
Saka, Saka,
absolutely.
Saka.
He's
But
gonna
I think
have
that's a
nightmares tonight.
perfect segue to get into Arsenal. They played Wolves in the first game, Raghu. Wolves, at in some spells they played pretty good. they
Okay.
were like they did give a little bit. Raya produced a amazing save to deny Wolves. What did you make of the overall performance of Arsenal, considering it was the first game? Were you some things to bring up? Like, were you happy, not happy?
I mean, I do feel we could have threatened and dominated more. It's always great for, first game at home, you win. That's a good boost. But the benchmark that we need to set for this season, I think we should have been more attacking. Probably should have scored one or two more goals, even in the first half. The momentum was there. It was building up. Saka cutting in, and Partey had a few misses. Declan Rice could have yeah, I think there was one chance where, right, Partey and Rice, both of them just outside the box, they had a few good chances, which they could have converted, and these are the goals that takes the pressure off of you early on in the game. But yeah, I think overall happy that that 3 points in the bag, but I think we need to build on this, and consistency, of course, would be key. I think it also goes back to how clubs during individual matches that after the first half and second half you see a difference sometimes and clubs are not able to maybe maintain that momentum throughout the game. Similarly, I think for us the goal would be towards more of a season level, keeping that momentum going across all competitions. So yeah, I think not there yet, but yeah, 3 points is a good start.
Not very busy in the transfer window. You've got in Calafiori, of course. Big running saga is the acquisition of Mikel Merino, who
Yeah,
some reports say that you guys are pretty close.
yeah.
Getting in another midfielder and getting in a midfielder like Merino, I think whom Arsenal is going to like Arteta's going to straight away put him in the team. So is he a player that's going to play alongside Rice? It has to be no in the
Yeah,
party
I think
position.
so. Probably, yeah. This probably going to be Party has been, injury prone. We saw that his consistency, it's not always there. And I think it gives us a good addition in the midfield area. It does now get a bit crowded. You also have Jorginho, you have Odegaard, and all of how what are the different combinations we can go ahead with in this. I think we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, definitely looks like Merino could bring in that or probably I think a good alternative. I would also love to see how Marino and Jorginho or that kind of a combination would play alongside, a Trossard and Saka. How would that work out? That'll be interesting to see as well. But yeah, I think we need to prepare across different formats. We also have Champions League, which will start soon. More matches. I think we'll have to see how that plays out. Yeah.
You
To take a step back,
yeah.
to take a step back, I don't know if we need a midfield player, right? Like,
Okay.
I mean, I was looking forward to more of a Saka backup in a way, or someone who can give him more support because I'm concerned about him as an Arsenal fan. He's played so many minutes,
What are your
but
other
yeah, I think
options? Sorry, what are your other options in that Saka role?
I don't. I think we did see in the friendlies, we did have players coming from our academy taking up that space and
Yeah.
contributing from that lens. But we do need a good. I don't know who that could be in the market right now,
Hmm.
but we do need a replacement,
I
or
think
not a
I know a
replacement,
club
but
who has
someone.
a lot of wingers.
Do you want Anthony?
You
No
take
thanks,
Raheem
Sean.
Sterling.
Perfect,
Sterling,
perfect.
Sterling.
What do you say? Perfect decide like left footed, cuts in.
I
He'll do
mean,
a good job. You
Arsenal
want him?
used to be the retirement home for Chelsea players anyways, so take Sterling.
Alright.
What?
Now it's a
You you
daycare. We're
want
gonna make it a
you want
daycare.
Mudrik back?
This is one
Yeah.
David Luiz. That's an
Yeah, you can
Mudrik.
have
I
Mudrik
think
Wow.
now. We don't want him anymore.
I think Mudrik will do really well on the right hand side.
Right. I'm pretty sure Mudrik also wants to join Arsenal, but too late. But
No, you can have him.
uh,
Raghu with
yeah,
Nketiah leaving, pretty close to joining Forest apparently.
yeah,
Do you think that you guys need a striker because you said that you don't need a midfielder? Okay, fair, but Arsenal, we always categorize Arsenal as a team that missed that X factor, like
yeah,
that player. I know Arsenal, the front line, they share the burden of goals. There's not one prolific striker, but
yeah.
I think, but do you think that you need that one player? to get you 20, 25 odd goals, like what you had with Van Persie and you know, some
Yeah.
future strikers that came down the line as well. Do you think you need that, and do you think Jesus is capable enough to do that? Also, Havertz.
I think Havertz did need time last season, and again, when you rightly mentioned someone like a Van Persie or a Giroud, even who could get
Correct.
those goals in for us, I think the style of play also has changed. I think we do a lot more through set pieces now, and also in terms of the play, the way it gets distributed from the midfield is really something that has changed the way we play over the years under Arteta. So I don't think we urgently probably need probably a striker might be a good addition to the team to see if we can have different kinds of threats for teams. You know, it's we have that unpredictability aspect. Someone who can just barge in, score a hat trick or something of that sort. But I'm not sure if we prioritize that over having a stronger depth in the squad, right? Maybe if we are to look at one thing over the other, maybe a winger would be more crucial, at least in this summer window, as opposed to a striker. And can Jesus do this? I'm Probably not. I would love to see him get more goals, especially now that he's back from his injury as well. I hope he's consistent and gets more minutes now. But I think Havertz is picking up as well, so would be rooting for that to, for him to score more goals.
I can speak from experience. We just kept saying that he'll need more time. It never happens. It
No,
didn't
but
happen for him
fair.
at
No, I
Chelsea. But
agree. But
on a personal level, I'd really hope that Havertz has a good season, man. I really liked him when he was at Chelsea
yeah,
because you always see the potential of a player. And the way Havertz played, you see a lot of potential in him. But unfortunately, at Chelsea, he could never live up to the expectations. He's a good
yeah,
player, but he's not a kind of an out and out nine who will get you goals after goals every game.
20 plus goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's where I agree with what Sean said. It's more distributed. You'd see Trossard come in and score. You'd
Mm.
probably see, Declan Rice score from outside the box once in a while.
I agree
You'd
with
see
that point.
Odegaard.
Nowadays, the style of play has changed to such an extent that you don't rely on just one person getting on the goals. The goals
Exactly.
come from
And
all
Mm.
of the front six, even the three midfielders, the three
th-
forwards.
yeah,
So
there was a time when Gabriel was scoring a lot more. We had
uh,
so many
FPL
headers and so many
machine,
set
man,
pieces.
FPL machine.
Yeah.
So,
So
Oh, the
so
the
I think
defender. Oh yeah, he's in my
yeah,
team.
yeah.
Like Arsenal centre backs are like prime, man, in terms of scoring goals. Have to have
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
So
In that terms of chipping away, I think yeah, that's. Going into the season with losing NKT, I know he wasn't playing that much. But do you think you guys are like you have enough with so many Champions League games, Havertz and Jesus? That's enough for you?
So many. If they make it past the group stage.
oh, no, I think group stage we can make it past, but it's
Round of 16. But
round of 16 that I'm more concerned about. But yeah, I think if we get in a winger for the summer window, I think in probably December, we'd have to, because I don't know if we also need to be careful about FPL. Sorry, not FPL. The
FFP.
regulations,
Yeah.
Mhm.
FFP regulations. So I think I'll wait to see how that pans out before we invest in a out and out striker just yet. But
So
do you guys think we need a striker urgently?
No, I think I
uh
really agree with your point about. Sorry, Shan. I really agree
Anna, go
with
ahead.
your point about getting a backup for Saka. I mean, what happens when he does his limp off the ground, his infamous
Yeah,
limp off the ground after a stinker? Who's going
yeah.
to take his place?
After
So, no, you really lack a right wing backup. So, I agree with that point. It would be better for Arsenal to sign a winger than a striker at this point.
Maybe we'll see how Arsenal do, but let's quickly turn our attentions to Liverpool. Sean, they went into play Ipswich on the first day. The
mm,
stadium was completely pumped in the
yeah.
first half, especially. Uh, Ipswich were all over in terms of tackles and making it as hard as they can for Liverpool. But towards the end they kind of drained out in terms of their abilities in terms of pressing, and that's where Liverpool are at their best because they are the intensity and the fitness level is so high of
Mm,
Liverpool, and that really shows not only with Ipswich but even the top teams in Europe as well, because Liverpool are so technically they are such a well built side. You were talking about a small switch that
mm.
Slot did in halftime. What was that exactly?
So, like Klopp in an interview, I mean, Slot. See, to run.
Still new.
I miss him so much. But Slot in an interview said that they took off Kwanzaa as a tactical swap because he was losing his duels. And he was like, he won 50% of his duels, but I think Slot said there's no point of talking about tactics if we can't win our one-on-one duels. And Ipswich were trying to go like one-on-one. They were pressing really high. They were trying to man mark as much as they could. And we just wanted a bit more control. So Konate swapped for Kwanzaa. That happened. And Ibu won like 75% of his duels. He was much more dominant in the air, but also he's more comfortable playing like in a wide role in distribution and passing. So just that addition, I think, freed up Trent a little bit more to make those runs because Konate was more in control in that slot, and then Trent started doing his thing and playing some like world class passes. But the second half was really good. Once we made that change, and even I think just adjusted to Ipswich's tempo, Ipswich's intensity went a bit down. They started really strong. But then there were some really good patterns of play. Like you could see some of the things that Slot was working on in preseason, and that's what I'm excited about. Yeah, this season.
Not a lot of incomings for Liverpool. Uh,
Not a
Zero.
lot,
none
zero.
actually. Yeah,
No incomings.
zero. But they're close enough. They're getting a goalkeeper. That is also not for this season. They're signing Mama Dashwili from Valencia,
Hmm,
who's apparently touted to be Alisson's replacement because
hmm,
maybe he might be leaving next season.
hmm,
What's your like? I've never got your stance on what's happening at Liverpool. Like there are a lot of protests that are going on against the owners. Not a lot of much happening. I know you guys have an amazing squad.
hmm,
You It's basically all sorted in each and every way, but the fans are worried about if injuries try to creep in
hmm.
into this team. You guys have enough personnel considering you are also in the Champions League. There are more games to play for. You guys also do make it towards the end of say the Carabao Cup, FA Cup as well. You guys go in pretty deep. Right now, do you think you have the squad to challenge on all fronts?
It depends because I feel like again, like Raghu was saying about Saka in a like Salah right wing position. I think we really need backup for Salah. Just because like like his fitness levels are like world class, but you still need someone to support him and like push him and maybe come on in like the 75th minute if we're cruising on a game, just to rotate Salah because he's so crucial. I feel we're lacking in a few places to challenge maybe. Like defense is a bit of a worry because Gomez might leave. The left back slot didn't look like extremely secure, like Robertson in that, like, we're trying to build up from the back, like similar to Chelsea, I think Slot likes building up from the back, like baiting the press. So yeah, to answer your question quickly, I think we need a few more people just to make it comfortable as a squad. We have a world-class like starting 11 that can
Yeah,
compete for the title, but just adding a few more names, or a few more like key positions, I think then we can push. Right now, I don't think so.
I
the
think
six being
that
a
has.
priority.
Hmm?
Oh, yes.
The six being a priority.
Six would make it like like a really world-class six in that role, especially when we're building from the back. You need someone who can join that back line, play those quick passes, control the tempo. I don't think Endo's more of a ball winner. He's really good at doing that, but like in terms of playing out from the back, those quick passes, I don't think he fits in there. Gravenberch had a really good game, but Brentford will be a big test because they're a much higher quality than Ipswich right now. So we'll see. But yeah, number six would be like a good position to like balance the team out.
Gogol, you were saying?
I'm saying it has been the case with Liverpool for the last few seasons now, apart from their title winning season. they've struggled with injuries. They have lacked
Mm.
squad depth every season now. We saw it last season as well when you got to the Carabao Cup final with
Still what?
legend.
Yeah.
Shut up. Nobody wants to relive that. But I mean, suppose it was somebody else other than Chelsea instead of Chelsea. If it was someone else, you guys would have. If it was City or Arsenal, you
Oh.
guys would have been thrashed 5-0, 6-0 because you had kids on that
Mm.
pitch. So
Yeah.
that has been the problem with Liverpool for a long, long time now. And so I think it is justified with the fans being angry with the ownership when it is not a one
Mm.
season thing. It has been happening for the last few seasons and we have still done nothing. I mean, for a top club like Liverpool to not sign a single player in the transfer
Mm.
window, it's absolutely ridiculous. And
Yeah.
especially when the number six that Shan was talking about, you didn't have that last season either.
Yeah,
So
we haven't replaced Fabinho completely, and I loved, like, I really like Endo and I really rate Endo, but then
even
we're trying to
he's,
be
I think
more.
he's,
But
oh, how old is Endo? I think even he is towards the
He's
back end
old.
of
He's
his
in like
career.
yeah,
he's
he's in
not back end.
29,
He's
30, I
yeah,
think.
he's
Yeah,
pushing
not
it.
the back
He's
end of
in
his
his
career, but
30s.
yeah.
Yeah, but
But what is the exact issue, Sean? Like, is it lack of funding? Is it you guys are juggling with PSR? I don't think that should be a PSR is not
we
the issue
no,
surely because
we're doing
you guys
really.
have had so many sales. Like Carvalho has
Hmm,
gone, the Vandenberg guy has apparently also left. So you
hmm.
guys have made a lot of sales. So like why or isn't just quality over quantity that's the issue?
We get a lot of like on Twitter, you get a lot of like PR statements from like the
Yeah.
journals who. So, and I don't really like I'm confused by a lot of them because they're like they keep saying we need to we're a sustainable model, we need to sell to buy all of that, which is fine, but it's a bit jarring when like Gogol said, like we had like major injuries last season and they derailed like a pretty good season. At one point in 2020, we were playing Henderson in defense. So, like, we've had an issue with injuries in the past, so you'd want some more squad depth, but they do signal, and I think Klopp said the same thing, right? We don't want to sign players for the sake of signing players like Chelsea is doing. But yeah, I think it's they keep saying these things, but sometimes you have to get the basic stuff right, like just signing a few more backups in certain key areas where you don't have it. Yeah, and there's a new transfer committee, there's a new hierarchy. Klopp's not like
Hmm.
they've recruited new people, so I don't know what's going on in that regard.
Yeah, because
Liverpool's very
Edwards has come in, right?
yeah,
These
Edwards has
guys are
come.
like pretty
Hmm.
reputed people in terms of. I know you guys were like chasing Zubimendi. Your plan A and
And that
plan
failed.
A
Yeah,
were
yeah.
Zubimendi, but then surely
You
you
have
need
a
backups,
backup to
right?
that.
Because
Yeah,
if that's not working, you go on to the next possible thing,
yeah,
and surely there are players who can kind of come in and aid.
and be
I
similar.
mean,
Yeah,
surely you should have learned your lesson from last season. Every player you went after
yeah.
was taken up
Join
by
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yeah,
So,
because that's why I
Yeah.
don't think money should be
Hmm.
an issue because if
Hmm.
Liverpool were ready last season to pay 100 million for
Yeah,
Caicedo,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think that is the issue. But surely when a new man, I know, you give this team to a
Hmm.
Klopp who's already like there, who knows how to get
Hmm.
around his way, who knows how to get around.
He'll
But
do it.
surely when a new manager is coming in, you have to somehow back him
Sign
because I
players
remember
to
this is so parallel to the David
Ten Hag.
Moyes scenario
Oh,
which
David
happened at
Moyes.
United,
Oh.
because Fergie left
Hmm.
and he had a champion winning team and all thought that yeah this team is set, and then he doesn't make a signing. There's zero signings, and then
Hmm.
on deadline day he gets in Fellaini, and then it just doesn't work. So it's kind
Yeah.
of drawing parallels. I'm 100% sure that that's not going to happen because Liverpool are in a much better place, but
Go
there
there.
are possibilities because the Premier League now being so competitive,
It's so
it could
competitive. Yeah.
kind of hamper his
Yeah.
what do you say, his top four charge.
I know. But yeah, speaking of Dutch
But
managers,
also the
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
Go
gonna
on
say
now.
how's Oragu gone? Yeah.
No, I was saying I think the rebuild would take time probably on Liverpool. I don't think they would be rushed there. I don't know if they're in a stage to rush in. I know it's been a while, a few
It's
years now.
Yeah, it's.
But
I don't think it's about rushing or rebuilding as such. It's about
Hmm.
creating a squad. It's not rebuilding.
Yeah.
But it will
which
be if
is
they
sort of
don't get those
maturing.
backups in now. It will get
Yeah,
to that stage where you'll need a full rebuild because I don't know how many
Yeah.
years Salah has got in him. I mean,
And
Yeah.
right.
Salah, Trent, and Van Dijk on their last year of their contracts as well. So like a
yeah,
lot of Liverpool fans are really angry about that. Like they're really worried because you'd want like the three of them to renew and keep going. But yeah.
and as you
Because yeah,
said,
Hmm.
there were big rumors of Salah leaving as well. So on a free that too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think
I
very
think
clear now.
Liverpool
Allison's leaving next season, I suppose. So
Salah
and
I
Yeah.
think will
This.
go as well
Allison, I think
because
he suits a Saudi profile, Saudi player
yeah.
profile completely. And same
Even
about
Salah, I
Salah.
think
Yeah, same
Salah
about
will be
Salah.
the
Yeah,
like I've kept saying even last year that Saudi will do anything in their power to get Salah. They might even offer him 1 million a week to come
Yeah.
and play over
Hmm.
there because he's absolutely their face. So I
Yeah.
think maybe they are trying to wait out next year and see once these guys leave, then we'll invest heavily. Maybe
And
that
then
is the
again,
strategy.
Uh,
they'll
But
get
it's
into
like
that
playing
stage
with
of
fire.
having to do a rebuild, a
yeah.
complete
Yeah,
rebuild of the squad. And I don't think that's going
Hmm.
to be difficult. I mean, as we have seen with Chelsea, as we saw with Arsenal a couple of years back, I mean, they did manage to rebuild quite well,
Hmm.
but they had a season where they were really struggling and had
oh yeah.
to do a complete rebuild. So, but anyways,
Yeah.
moving on. Next, we have United. I mean, quite a scare, wasn't it? Up until the 87th minute.
yeah, it was a scare, but for the right reasons, I think, because I think we had a lot of chances to kill the game off in the first half and in the second half. So it was more disappointment if I thought that because I comparing it to the first game of last season where we were completely outplayed by Wolves. This was more of a game where I could see structure. I could see a coherent press, that's going for the ball and a good team structure, players back fit. So all in all, I was impressed with the performance. The goals were not coming, but then yeah, finally it showed when you do play with a striker in the team. Strikers do get you goals. So Zugzi coming in, he hasn't had a preseason. So he's come in and scored with one touch. It just shows that now we have someone to back up upon when Hoyland is not there. Because last season we were practically playing with one striker because Martial was not there. So yeah, all in all, it was a really positive start. I can finally now see what the what Ten Hag wants to do. The players also that have come in, they've come in. You know, it's players that he wants and it's players that suit his style as well. So all in all, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with how we played and plus what's going on around the club as well.
I mean, he did get players that he wanted the last couple of seasons too, didn't he? I mean,
Yeah,
he's got his whole Ajax team back
Ajax
together.
2.0.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it'll be quite
yeah,
interesting to see. I mean, Fulham was a good challenge, and to be honest, even they missed quite a few chances to actually
yeah.
win that game. But
But if you think they like the shot because their XG was pretty low, their XG was hardly 0.49 and compared to United's two goals. Uh, the shot, I think they had only two shots on target. One was which was a longer range, but they were able to cut through midfield like on the counter because they were playing on the counter, right?
yeah,
Because they were playing without the ball. So the only scare was Adama Traore running at players. So that was the only scare. And then one instance where Maguire blocks a 2-on-1. He does really well, but that pass was really bad. That was the only two scares that we had in the game, but other than that I felt pretty confident, but I'm pretty worried for the next game against
exactly.
Brighton
That's what I was
because
building up to.
Brighton has been our bogey team. I was just covering that game. Four out of the last 5 games they've beaten us 4 times, and
Wow.
the last game was our only win. So prior to last game where we beat them on the last day of the season, we lost 4 games in a row. And whenever we play Brighton, we always play Brighton at the start of the season. Maybe it's the first
And
game or
they're
maybe it's the
always
second game.
on another
It
level at the start of
always
the
happens. I
season.
don't know what like kya hai ye Premier League ka, like how these fixture lists are made. We always get Brighton as a first or the second game. It always happens. And as soon as I saw the fixture list, I'm like, damn man, like But the only hope is that what I have seen of Brighton, they absolutely demolished Everton in the first game. But what I saw from Brighton is that they play with a very very high line. So I think when teams play with a high line against us, I think Rashford and all are equipped to run in behind. So that is the only hope. If we can play a little bit on the back foot and look for the ball over the top for Rashford and Garnacho to chase, so
Yeah.
I think in that game we should be all right. But it's a tough game, and then we play Liverpool. So at Old Trafford, with against Liverpool, we've been doing okayishly well in the
Hmm.
last two
Yeah.
seasons.
Seven
But
up, seven up. कहाँ गया?
yeah, ठीक है, बराबर. But at least better than losing to kids, no.
Bhai. Moving on. आगे.
But
But
yeah, all in all, really really happy with United.
as you were
Uh,
saying, like you had a XG of 2 goals. I think उसमें से
yeah.
1.5 तो शायद गार्नाचो का ही था वो. क्या मिस
नहीं
था
ब्रूनो ना,
यार.
ब्रूनो का ज़्यादा था, but
Bruno
yeah,
was good.
That
yeah,
miss,
that
I'm saying.
he should be putting it in. But anyway, yaar, we'll give him
I
the
mean,
benefit of the
I
doubt. He's been
legit,
But
amazing.
I just watched the last 15 minutes of that game, and after basically Garnacho came on, and I had him in my FPL team. When I saw he's
Yeah.
not starting, I was like, shit, gaya yaar, rehne do. Nahi hai to better hai. And then he came on, I was like, fuck, 1 point for no reason. And then he missed that chance.
A lot of people had Bruno also in the team.
Yeah.
So it was very frustrating. Bruno came out on Instagram saying that I'm sorry for the FPL managers who had me in the team. I promise I'll do better next time. So
Do you still get
he came out with it.
PTSD when United players put an apology post on Instagram?
Yeah.
oh
But
shit.
but apology for good things. So and plus
But but I have a question. I mean, for Shan, in the sense that I know it's probably just the first game of the league so far, but with Roy coming in, do you see something change
yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of yeah?
Yeah, I think he's had a very good he's had a stint as a manager as well in Holland. So he kind of knows how to deal with players, and I think Nistelrooy coming in is hopefully going to be helpful for our attackers because last two seasons as an attacking front we've struggled a lot. We don't score too many goals. Like we win games, but we win games very narrowly. It's more like
Yep.
the 1-0s and the 2-1s and the 3-1s. It's never like, I have seen us take a 2-0 lead and we never capitalize on that. We wait for it to
Yeah.
become 2-2 and then we make it 3-2, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Heart
we
attack
don't run,
moments.
yeah, we don't run away with games. So I think
Yeah.
we Nistelrooy coming in hopefully can get our attackers firing, i.e. Rashford. Uh, Obviously, he'll be good for Hoyland, and then Xerxes a Dutchman. So I think that connection is there. So I think Nistelrooy coming in, plus he knows the club as well. So all in all, that is going to help hopefully get us, where we need to be. Hopefully the top four. So yeah, that him coming in has made a positive. Like what I see on Twitter from insiders and everything is that it's got a little bit of a positive vibe going around the club. So and then you can't be a bitch like Sancho and then go up to someone like Nistelrooy and say, "What have you done in your career?" So he can practically sit everyone down in that squad saying that, "Yeah, I have played for this team and I have won everything that has to have won with this team." So yeah, I think it has to make a positive impact. So yeah,
I mean, even Chelsea, I mean, we also have a player of that kind now in our management staff, Willy Caballero. He's won
wow.
everything that there's to win.
With City,
Excuse me, who do you think got him the Champions League? Okay, who do
yeah,
you
but
think got him the
ठीक है
Champions
ना,
League?
sitting on the fence. Okay, but yeah, with that we've come to the end of the show. Before we leave, one thing in this game week that surprised you, like anything, just anything that surprised you this game week. I'll start with you, Sean. Or who's ready with an answer?
Anyone?
I didn't expect
I
Jamie
think
Vardy to
Vardy's goal.
Vardy
I
scoring.
was
Yeah,
yeah. Vardy
I was
scoring
damn
that.
happy.
Yeah. I mean, not surprising, but just loved it. Yeah,
I actually
loved
didn't even expect him to start.
Exa-
So
Yeah,
seeing him
exactly.
on, and plus the amount of Red Bull that guy has consumed, I don't know how this guy is still alive, man. Like three to four Red Bull cans a day is mad. And
Yeah.
plus
Crazy.
running so much, how has he not got a heart attack until now? I don't know how that guy's heart hasn't stopped. I just and he gets like He's a perfect billboard for Red Bull. I think Red Bull should sponsor him.
But Leipzig should sign him, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe a good brand ambassador.
Brand
What did you
ambassador.
guys make of the red card?
That
The
was
headbutt
so
incident.
harsh. I mean, what was that incident? It wasn't even an incident. Why did he give him a red card for that? And then that
Which
Wolves
which
guy, he
which
got
red card
away
was?
with literally choking Havertz.
Yeah,
Ah,
that was
yeah, yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
That was mad.
I mean,
I
that
Yeah,
is not a red card. And then the Fabian Schär, was it? He got a red, right?
Yeah, that was a
ah,
red
yeah.
card
That
when
was
he's
a
just
red.
gone to touch heads.
It
That
wasn't
that
even a
was a red card.
yellow. For
Yeah,
me, it wasn't
it
even a yellow. Why is he given a red for
Sheraton
that?
Diaz makes such a big meal out of it is like
Yeah.
so unfair.
And
So
clearly
unfair.
the
But
ref had missed that. So it was
yeah.
surely flagged by the linesman or the fourth official that this
But VAR
happened.
can intervene. It's a red card. VAR can
Yeah.
go and
Mm.
say
Can
that that's not a red card offense because that's you have to have brains. You have to be on the field to
another
know that that's not
season,
a red.
same old VAR and Premier League referees. So
The before we go, the bigger incident was SS's goal. You guys catch
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. He scored a free kick and he blew for a foul right before it went into the
Yeah.
net.
So
And
so
because
what
he blew
happens is
his
that
whistle, they
yeah. So
can't
what
go to
happens is
VAR.
that there's a scrum going on in the wall, and Eze is taking a free kick from a way acute angle. And then the ball, he hits a direct free kick. He catches Flecken off, and the ball directly is going in. But what the referee blows before Eze taking the free kick, and the ball is nowhere near where the incident has happened. And he just blows before Eze kicks the ball. And because of that, VAR cannot
VAR
even
can't
intervene.
intervene.
And it's such a clear goal that's been disallowed, and at a critical
I
time
mean,
as well for
I think
penalty.
that was a bit unfortunate with the timing. But
Yeah,
what was more astonishing was the Fabian Schär red card, and we are not interfering. I mean,
that was the worst. I agree. That
this
was
is
the
going to
worst.
be another season of referees trying to be the talk of the town.
I
You
hope
know,
the
they
mistakes were pretty less, but I hope there are fewer. I don't
yeah.
think there are going to be fewer, but yeah,
Also a
we'll
big
only hope.
surprise. I mean, I didn't know this had happened, but they had changed the handball rule apparently, which we saw with
Yeah,
Kovacic's handball that was not given. Like
I don't
when
know
I
what's a
saw
handball.
that
I
first
don't know
time,
what's the rule. What is a handball? I don't know anymore.
no,
So
because for the last couple of seasons they had gone to if it strikes your arm, it's a handball, irrespective if it is blocking a cross or a
yeah,
shot at goal. As long as it hits your arm, it's a handball. But now they have gone out and said that if it's in a natural position, it's not a handball. But I don't know how this is a natural position. अब तो मैं ऐसा हर बॉल ऐसे डिफेंड करने जाएगा.
that they just keep making the handball more grayer and grayer, and then it's anything is
But
not going to
again,
be a handball
saying
anymore.
that
So
if your hand's in a natural position, it's not a handball. You're leaving it up to the referee's judgment. And
Yeah.
L-
if that
Last
happens,
season,
there's
last
going to
season
be
some Arsenal
controversy.
play. Sorry, last season some Arsenal player played basketball against us. ना Odegaard
Odegaard,
उसने
Odegaard.
dribble किया ना मैं.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, come
that
on.
yeah, you can't deny it. But anyway, the biggest surprise was that Anthony Taylor had didn't have such a bad game. Like he is getting his mojo back a
नहीं
little
नहीं
bit,
गाली
hopefully.
तो पड़ी
Goat,
चेल्सी
goat,
फैन से गाली
goat.
तो पड़ी वो तो खाई आई
Yeah, but there some team is going to suffer crazily. Like that is the Premier League for you, and that is why we have podcasts like this to whine and cry about decisions that go against our team. But
Group
otherwise,
therapy.
YouTube wouldn't have been working, and channels like us wouldn't have been into existence if actually Anthony Taylor हम लोग को धंधा दे रहा है actually. So actually, we should be thankful to Anthony Taylor for that. But anyway,
Shout
we've come to the end of the show. Great having you guys back. Premier League has just started, and it's surely going to get better and better. Can't wait to see who takes the lead earlier on. But of course, we'll be having our Premier League review show as well. It's going to be one exact year since the inception of this channel. That's where we started off. The
Oh,
giveaway is live as well. So head on to the description page below to kind of know what the rules are in order for you to be one of the three lucky winners to win a jersey of their choice. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and get going in the comments. as to who impressed you the most. And yeah, with that, we see you in the next video.